Have you ever wondered which niches are good and which ones are absolute trash? Well, you are not alone, brother, because I have been there myself. But things are way different now, and I managed to find out which niches are valuable and which ones you should never even consider. That's why in this video I will talk about the worst niches in 2025 and why you should avoid them at all cost. So let's get right into the lesson on the worst niches, guys. So, before going into the list of the worst niches, I first want to show you the criteria that I use to determine a niche's worth. Starting with the first criteria, high supply, meaning many businesses in that particular niche, Because if many businesses in that niche exist, it's going to be a red ocean. Or in other words, this basically means it's hard for the business to stand out from the competition, but it's also very hard for copywriters, meaning for you to stand out from other copywriters, because if there are many businesses in that particular niche, of course you are going to have lots of copywriters trying to improve the marketing of these particular businesses. So yeah, with increasing supply of businesses in a niche, you are also going to see more copywriters, meaning more competition for you, which is not good, of course. So yeah. Second criteria will be the copy or marketing awareness of that niche, If you send copy to these people, will they appreciate it or will they not, Because many niches don't, because they don't understand the importance of good marketing, They simply don't understand it, You always want to send an outreach to someone that appreciates your skill set, someone that is willing to pay you lots of money for it, Third criteria will be the low pain, meaning a mild problem, So do the businesses in that niche relieve a very big pain, or is it a very small one? Because only when big pain is relieved, you make big amounts of money, guys. That's what you need to understand, Fourth criteria point will be the return on investment. So this basically is just the ROI. Do the customers in that niche get their money back if they invest into a product, making it effectively free, like a business coaching or a make money coaching would make the product kind of effectively free, right? So do they get their money back? Do they have a return on investment? That's also something you need to ask yourself. Now to the fifth criteria point, demand for freelance copywriters. Do these niches even want a freelance copywriter, or do they even have demand for them, Do they want one? If they don't want one, of course, you don't need to outreach to them, guys. And now to the last criteria point, low profit margins, or in general, low marketing budget, Do these niches even have enough money to pay you something, So yeah, for very kind of low ticket kind of programs, they will not be able to pay you thousands of dollars per month because it's just too much for them, So yeah, that's also something you need to ask yourself. This is the criteria I will rate the upcoming niches on, So let's get right into the worst niches, guys. There might be some niches inside that you consider good. So let's start things off with something controversial, guys. You might not like it, but I am going to be as honest as possible, of course, because one of the worst niches in 2025 are fitness coaches, guys. And yeah, probably 90% of the people watching this video love reaching out to them because they kind of understand how to write copy for them, but you should not do it, because simply fitness coaches are arrogant and stupid 90% of the time. They do not understand the importance of marketing. If you send them over a big sick landing page with copy and stuff, you send them over beautiful marketing instruments that will make them tons of money, they simply don't get it, They simply don't understand why words in a Google Doc are going to make them money, They simply don't understand it. They do not think in terms of business, Most of the time they are meatheads, They can't think in terms of marketing and sales. They are mostly not cut out to make huge amounts of money, These are not businessmen, these are just fitness teachers kind of who happen to go into fitness coaching online, They are not smart when it comes to making money. On top of that, you have many fitness coaches out there making it hard to stand out for individual ones. There are so many fitness creators, and yeah, it's also very hard to stand out in your outreach because there's a very high competition. It's like a red ocean. That's what you need to understand, kind of. So yeah, so in summary, zero marketing awareness and very high competition, guys. It just doesn't make sense to reach out to these people because they don't appreciate your skill set, and there are many other copywriters trying to close them on their own. Of course, I teach high value outreach, which should be no problem closing these guys, but it's still not worth it, guys. There are much better niches out there. If there's a big supply of something, meaning like many fitness coachings, the product becomes less valuable and people will compete on price. Who will be the cheapest fitness coach? It's a terrible niche. There are way too many people out there teaching fitness. Now, to niche number 2, guys. E-commerce is one of the worst niches in my opinion because, first of all, these businesses usually have a very low profit margin, something like 20 to 40%, which is usually like very low, and the products they sell are mostly very cheap, depending on a sub niche. Of course, if they sell like, computers or like very high value tables or something, it's going to be better. But if it's like very small skincare products, you're not going to be able to charge very much for these products. And yeah, meaning if you write emails for them selling like skincare or something, they would need to sell hundreds of products for you to just get $1,000 back for them. It doesn't make sense to sell like low ticket products because they need such a big email list and everybody needs to buy something in order for you to like get a fair share. So it sucks. Also, these businesses usually hire someone in-house, meaning they have a 9-to-5 marketer who writes all the copy for them. So also, if you send the outreach to them, it's very hard to get past like this marketing team, like in the front of the business. They're pretty much going to gatekeep like the business owner, and yeah, they will pretty much do everything. So getting into such businesses will be very hard as a freelance copywriter, but also, why would you want to? There's not much money to be made, depending on the size of the e-commerce store, but you guys all get the idea. Exceptions don't disprove the rules. So yeah, now to niche number 3, guys, corporate businesses. Yeah, I'm talking about something like banks or food chains, These businesses also hire in-house marketers doing all the marketing decisions for them, So it's very hard for you to get the foot in the door as a freelance copywriter. They are not in demand for freelance copywriters because they always hire someone for 40 hours a week to do the job for them, They simply don't need someone that is sitting a few countries away writing copy for them, Also, these businesses usually don't relieve a big pain, and also they sell very low ticket products most of the time, So it simply doesn't make sense to go with like overly corporate like banks and food chains. You won't be able to get like a fair share for your services, So yeah. Now to the worst niche number 4, SaaS. By the way, this is not in a particular order. These are all just bad. SaaS meaning software as a service. These businesses also hire an in-house marketer, again, for 40 hours a week. Plus, they don't relieve a big emotional pain. Of course, sometimes they solve like good problems and stuff as a software, but you can't really like write like very emotional copy and kind of use urgency and scarcity too much with these people because it's like also a little bit more corporate, you won't be able to write like coach copy, like emotional copy for like these SaaS businesses. And yeah, there's not like too much money to be made, and yeah, you can't like launch master classes and stuff. It's just not normal for SaaS businesses, So yeah, niche number 5, guys, new businesses. Of course, this is not a niche in and of itself. It's just like new businesses in general, because they simply do not have enough marketing budget for you guys. Maybe you might have the belief, if I just find someone starting out and I can be his copywriter and stuff, oh my God, it's going to be so nice. We are going to build everything and we are going to make so much money and I get 20% of every sale made. It's going to be great. No, it's not going to be great because, one, you need 3 months at least to make a penny with this guy because he's just starting out, his audience is slowly growing and stuff. It just doesn't make sense, And on top of that, you need to understand, you kind of might have already understood this before, copywriting is a multiplier, meaning the bigger the business's audience, the more money you make. Very important to understand. And now, guys, to the last worst niche. Niche number 6, local businesses, These businesses don't sell to people online, making it exponentially harder to drive huge amounts of revenue because the TAM, meaning like the total addressable market, is way smaller. In simple terms, it is just limited to the people that live in town and around it. You can't sell to too much people because the TAM is so small, You are very limited in terms of your customer base. And they only need copy in terms of flyers or billboards, They don't need like actual online copywriting services. So yeah, these are very bad niches, guys. The worst 6 niches in my opinion. And if you want to hear about a good niche, go with educational creators. And I am going to explain this to you. And by the way, fitness coaches are also educational creators, but the worst ones. Let's put it like that, They are simply better like business coaches and stuff, or manifestation, whatever, because competition is way lower. And usually these are not like meatheads only understanding to lift weights, and they kind of understand, okay, I need a personal brand, I need aesthetics, I need a beautiful site with beautiful copy and stuff. They kind of understand how the game goes. So yeah, I can explain this to you guys. 1, they relieve a big pain. 2, it's lower competition if you choose like the right niches. 3, they sell mid-ticket to high-ticket programs, making it easier for you to make lots of money. 4, they solve like a big emotional pain kind of. And yeah, these are already like very big points kind of. And 5, if you choose like niches like drop shipping, SMMA, copywriting, whatever, people will get a direct return on investment on the money they invest into these businesses, into these coaches, whatever you want to call it, consultants, whatever, So these are like 5 big points why educational creators are just the best, And also I made another video on this. It's called like the best niche in 2025. I simply explain in there why this niche is so goddamn overpowered. I mean, look at school, Alex Hormozy and Sam Ovens putting their best bet on an educational company, going all in on something like that because the online education market is rising. You are sitting in a boat that is not sinking, it's getting even bigger, So this is like, in my opinion, the best niche and the only niche you should consider. Of course, it's like a big niche and there are like many sub-niches below that. Like fitness coaches, which you should cut out in my opinion, because they're just shit. So yeah, definitely consider other educational creators, guys, and you will never run out of prospect because there are so many of those. So yeah, these are all the worst niches in 2025 and also the best niche in my opinion, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want even more source on copywriting, outreach and stuff, feel free to join my free school. Link is in the bio. There's a free 2-hour outreach masterclass and they're telling you exactly how to get your very first client in the next 4 to 8 weeks if you are willing to put in the work and if you already have the service delivery side of things figured out. There are only 156 people in there, so you are still pretty early. There will be thousands of people in there. And yeah, it's essentially like a free mentorship because I just answer your questions in there. I review your looms and your outreaches in general. So yeah, hope to see you inside. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.